Hey, it's Jill, the health coach. Today I want to talk to you about food combinations or food combining. So I was with a client today and we were working on his heartburn issue. And one of the recommendations that I was making and that we were trying to pay close attention to was how he was combining his foods and how it affects his digestion and how it could be a root cause of some of his digestive issues. So, what is food combining? Basically, it's when you combine certain foods in a certain way, they can either help or make you sick, or they may cause gas or bloating or heartburn, any of those things. And the reason is because the way your body operates is, again, I always say this, your body is a brilliant, brilliant computer. And it operates very specifically. So when you eat a specific type of a food, it triggers a signal in your brain to then have your body excrete these enzymes that are going to break down the certain types of foods that you're eating. So for example, if you eat any type of like a sugar or things that break down into sugar, such as like breads or grains or even a starchy vegetable, basically you need a specific type of enzyme to break it down so that your body can then absorb it, and that way you can get the nutrients out of the food that you eat. So for starchy foods or sugars, things that break down into sugar, that actually requires a more alkalizing type of an enzyme to be produced. However, when you eat protein, your body triggers a signal to produce a different type of an enzyme. It's a more of an acid type of an enzyme because proteins, and when I mean protein, it could be anything from, beef, fish, turkey, chicken, even cheese and eggs and stuff like, and yogurt, stuff like that. So those are a little harder for your body to break down. So that requires a more of an acid-based type of an enzyme to, again, break down that food into small enough pieces so that your body can readily absorb it. So here's the deal. When you have something that requires your body to produce an alkalizing enzyme and then also an acid enzyme, it knocks heads because it neutralizes each other, and then neither one of them gets digested very well. So the point is, when you combine foods properly, meaning that they require the same type of enzyme, they'll get absorbed more easily and more quickly, and it will actually be much better to get your nutrients, and then even for elimination. So what are the rules? So as I just said, you've got your protein and your starches, and guess what? Those things should not be combined together. So what does that mean? Yeah, things like a hamburger. You've got the protein being the hamburger and then the bun being the starch. That's a no-no. What about steak and potatoes? Yeah, sorry about that, guys, but that's another big no-no that your digestive system just doesn't like. How about meatballs and spaghetti? Another no-no. So those are two examples. Another example is with fruit. Fruit, believe it or not, should be completely eaten alone. And that's because it's another type of a sugar and it's going to get digested very, very quickly. And that's why it's always suggested to be eaten alone. And when I mean alone, if you want to have it, you can have it before a meal. Like you could have it a little bit before the meal because that gets digested very, very, very quickly. And then you can go and have a meal after you eat it. However, if you want to have fruit for like dessert, that is the worst thing you can do. And the reason is because, let's say you had a big steak. So you've got the steak. We know that steaks take longer to get broken down. So your body's working to break it down. You plop fruit right on top of it, what's going to happen? That fruit is not going to get broken down. As a matter of fact, it's just going to ferment in your body. So if you eat it like 60 minutes after you have dessert, 60 minutes after you eat your meal, that's probably okay. But fruit should be eaten alone. And then a little sidebar with the types of fruit also makes a big difference. So for example, without getting to all the other specifics of all the types of fruit, but melons in particular should be eaten alone. And when I mean alone, like watermelon should be eaten with watermelon. That's it. You're not supposed to have a fruit salad. That can cause digestive upset. And actually, you may not even realize that it does that. But especially watermelon is the worst offender because it's a very, very sweet fruit and it's very water-based, so it gets digested super, super quickly, and everything else is kind of lagging behind. So it's best to eat melons completely on their own. You can have other fruits in a fruit salad, like you can eat grapes and pineapple together and apples. You can have all those together, but melons in particular should be eaten alone. So you've got that. And then one thing that, breaks my heart is one of my favorite things in the world. It's like my little treat is I take a little coconut oil and then I cut up my apples and then I throw them in the saute pan and I just make it nice. It's like apple pie without the crust, but I really enjoy it. But that's a no-no. You're not supposed to have fats with fruit. So I'll try to go without that and let's see how that goes. So anyway, but that's just not a favorable food combining type of a thing. So the big things are you're not supposed to have starch or grains or breads or anything with protein. And you're not supposed to have fruits with any fat, and you're only supposed to have fruits while they're alone by themselves. So those are the big, huge, important principles of food combining. And let's just give you some examples. So let's say that you wanted to plan out your meal for the day, meal plan for the day. So you might start your day out with just fruit. You can have some grapes, berries, mango, papaya, peaches, pineapple. You could have a bowl of that for, say, breakfast if you want. And then say for lunch, then you could have your starch. You could have like grains, like, you could have spelt, or you could have like some organic corn or some rice or something like that. And you can have that with vegetables, and that could be a nice meal for you. Or you can have just protein. So you could have your fish, milk, cheese, beef, turkey, any type of poultry, eggs. You could have that alone, and you could have that, couple that with vegetables also. Or you can also choose from another category of nuts and seeds, and any type of nuts and seeds, you can couple those with vegetables, like, for a snack. So anyway, let's start again. You've got breakfast, you could have a nice bowl of fruit, and then for lunch, maybe you could have like rice with some vegetables, something like that. And then for dinner, you could have a nice piece of fish or chicken or anything like that, but as long as you have some vegetables with it. And keep in mind that vegetables also help digest the type of protein that you have. So, but the point is, you're not supposed to have hamburger. You're not supposed to have the spaghetti and meatballs, and just stay away from having that protein and the starch, because that combination is very upsetting to your body. Other tricks are chew your food. You need to chew it well, and that will help your digestion. Also, when you drink water, try to avoid drinking during a meal. You're not supposed to combine water or any type of a liquid with your meal, because what it ends up doing is that it just washes down the food and it keeps it from digesting fully. So if you keep these little guidelines, that can help you a lot. And do a challenge. I'm going to do a challenge, and I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to do this for a week, and let's see, if it makes a difference. Optimally, it's supposed to help you digest your food much better. It can help you lose weight, and it can help with weird symptoms, because people don't realize that when you combine foods improperly, you may not have majorly digestive issues, but what happens is you may not absorb nutrients. So let's say that now you're combining your food properly. Well, your body now all of a sudden is absorbing nutrients, and all of a sudden you may get rid of some nagging symptoms. So let's say that you're deficient in magnesium, let's say, and all of a sudden your body's able to absorb it, and all of a sudden you don't have cramps or joint pain or anything. And that could be because you're really just absorbing your food more completely. Make sense? hopefully. Anyway, just a few more tips and, let's see how it goes. But I do invite you guys also to do a challenge that I'm going to do as well. And let me know how you do. So just go to jillthehealthcoach.com and check out any other blogs or articles, or shoot me an email and tell me how it went. And for any other YouTube videos, check me out at Jill the Health Coach. Thanks.